Today on Franchise Inspectors, even more franchise chicanery that will likely shock and dismay you. This is at the highest levels of franchising, the International Franchise Association. So you've probably seen those awards that franchise companies show on their websites that people think must mean the company is solid and certainly worth investing in. Sadly, thousands of people every single year make the decision to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars based just on these awards. And we called out arguably the biggest player of these useless awards, Entrepreneur's Franchise 500, many years ago, and we showed how these lists ultimately hurt people, as many of these brands are actually terrible with high failure rates, low revenues, and questionable business practices. If you want to take a look, I will place the link to that video above. But today we are looking at a different list and a different set of shenanigans, this one from the International Franchise Association. Now, if you don't know the IFA, it is the largest member-based community that helps franchisors, franchisees, and suppliers learn, lead, and succeed across more than 300 industries. Now, it sounds, after reading that, like this is an unbiased organization that also helps franchisees or prospective franchisees, so surely we can trust whatever it says. But hold on. Check this out. So last week, the IFA announced the winner of the 2025 Emerging Franchisor Award, and it was Hounds Town USA. Right in the post here on LinkedIn, it states, recognizes an exceptional franchisor with fewer than 10 years in franchising who demonstrates responsible growth, strong culture, and meaningful community impact. Now, people see this and they say, honey, hey, did you see this new franchise here on LinkedIn? Maybe we should take a look at investing. I mean, if the IFA says it's good, it must be good. And now I'm not going to get into any detail of some of the negative things that we know about Hounds Town USA, including lawsuits, franchisees losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, questionable hiring practices for their salespeople, etc., as that's been covered by Sean Kelly over at Unhappy Franchisee. But suffice it to say that some people have had highly negative experiences and lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, you might say, hey, but in their disclosure document, it shows 0 lawsuits. Well, then you don't understand how franchise companies know how to manipulate the law better than you do. Now, in fairness to Hounds Town, before we continue, there are franchisees who are happy and who are doing well, but you need the full story and know all of the potential hazards before you invest any money. Even things like the possibility of being evicted because of noise complaints. Franchisors will never tell you these things. You need to be very critical before you invest. Anyway, back to the IFA awarding Best Emerging Franchise to Hounds Town USA. Now, let's put all of the negatives aside for a second and look at their own criteria for choosing franchises that are eligible to receive this award. It states the companies chosen must have been in franchising for less than 10 years. Now, Sean Kelly on the IFA's own LinkedIn post called Hounds Town out, as their own website shows that the first Hounds Town franchise opened in 2012. Actually, many sources around the web show 2012, which is more than 10 years ago, which should then disqualify Hounds Town as a so-called emerging franchise by the IFA's own criteria. Now, how did Hounds Town react to the post calling them out about that page? Well, they simply deleted the page. Now, I took a look at their own disclosure documents. They state that they've been franchising since 2008, much more than the 10-year criteria set forth by the IFA. So the burning question here is why, over the dozens of other potential actual emerging franchises, and there are many really great options out there, why was Hounds Town USA chosen above all the others? And this is where things get even more crazy. Now, when I looked at the 2025 IFA Task Force, these are the people chosen to be in charge of the Emerging Franchisor Conference, I found something very interesting. No, this can't be. Is it? This cat kind of looks familiar, and sure enough, that is Rob Flanagan, the CEO of none other than Hounds Town USA. And all of this information is public. It's not hidden anywhere. Now, call me old-fashioned, but to choose a franchise that seemingly does not fit the very criteria to qualify has experienced at least some issues that we know of, to select them the same year that the CEO of that company served on the very task force responsible for the conference, that seems a little off-putting. So additional questions that will likely never be responded to. Did the IFA know, but they decided to overlook the fact that Hounds Town did not fit the criteria of emerging franchisor? Did the IFA not know these very easily found details of when they started franchising, in which case it can be argued they really need to bump up their own research before bestowing these accolades upon franchisors? And when they find out that this is indeed the case, will they retract the award? I would say that's very doubtful, as they must have seen the post already calling them out on their LinkedIn profile. Now, I will say, as I was reading the FDD, I did see the company in 2022 merged from Hounds Town Inc. to Hounds Town USA. Now, if that is the loophole being claimed to qualify them for Best Emerging Franchise, theoretically, McDonald's could also qualify for the Best New Emerging Franchisor. Now, if some of you think I'm just being crusty, remember, people risk their life savings based on these industry validation. And I've personally spoken with hundreds of people who've lost millions of dollars because of this false sense of security these organizations and the awards bring. Some of those interviews with those folks are even on this channel. Now, if you're looking at franchises, and this is any franchise, not just Hounds Town, do not take anything that is told to you at face value. There is no group, no organization, institution, or even any laws that are watching over your best interest. Just for the record, I've also decided to elect myself for the bestest emerging franchising YouTuber in the universe. You can cast a vote by subscribing, liking, or just clicking away. I'll take that as a vote as well. Thanks for watching.
Netflix is the bestest franchise YouTuber in the universe. Netflix is the bestest franchise YouTuber in the universe.